Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church, and I'm here to share another message with you this morning. This time it has to do with a psalm that maybe you've heard before, but want to remind you that today is Wednesday, and it's the first day of November. A whole nother month is upon us, and before you know it, it'll be Thanksgiving and then Christmas. I hope you're getting ready. I hope you have a lot to be thankful for. And we'll talk about that some more beginning next week. But let me share today from Psalm 13, just two simple verses, verses 5 and verse 6. And here's what it says: I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I sing to the Lord because he is good to me. Well, there are a couple of things in here that should get our attention if we think about it for a few minutes. The first one, it says that I trust in your unfailing love. What does trust mean? I mean, you think about it. I'm going over a bridge and I trust that it's not going to fall on me. I put my money in the bank and I trust that the bank isn't going to collapse and I'll get my money out. We talk about with marriage, we trust our partner. And sometimes we trust in our ability to think things through. What does that word trust mean? Well, at the very least, it means to give something else that you cannot control the ability to take care of whatever it is that's related to it. Let's go back to the bank. I can't do anything about the bank. Once I put my money into the account, I never see it again. I mean, many times it just gets transferred electronically, and who knows where it goes. But it's something that I cannot control, the bank. I'm I'm going to give them the power and the freedom to do what they need to do in order to take care of my money. When I trust my partner in marriage, you know, people can do lots of things. Anybody can do whatever they want to do, basically. And what I'm saying is, I can't control my partner, but I'm believing I'm going to act as if that person is going to be what she says she is. Well, here the psalmist says, I trust in you. That's the Lord. And I trust in your unfailing love. Now, you and I love things. We love food. We love cars. We love houses. We love clothes. We love books. We love certain kinds of furniture or tools. But it's not unfailing. You know, a lot of foods that I thought were terrific 30 years ago, I don't even want to eat anymore. My style of clothing has changed, much somewhat to the chagrin of my wife, because I don't wear a coat and tie anymore. And sometimes she thinks I ought to. You know, my unfailing love can vary. In fact, it's not really unfailing, but God's is always unfailing. It cannot change. It won't change. He will not withhold his love from you, regardless of what you have done or what you will do. Now, that doesn't mean you're out of the woods and anything matters, but it is to say that God is dependable in his love towards you and me. Now, the second part of this says, I will rejoice because you've rescued me. Well, rescued me from what? As far as I can tell, in the last little bit, I haven't done much that needs rescuing. Well, I say haven't done much because if I say I haven't done anything, I'm sure I'm leaving something else, and I bet you would too. But I haven't turned my back on God. I haven't not loved my wife. I haven't insulted my neighbor. You know, I haven't done those things. So, what is God rescuing me from? What is it that needs rescuing? Well, part of that answer is our sinful nature. We are not perfect. I got news for you. You're not perfect. And if you think you are perfect, then you really aren't perfect. People who come to church aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. I mess things up just like you do. But God rescues me from this state of constantly wanting to sin and do things that aren't acceptable to Him. He rescues me out of my own mess ups. Now, that's pretty good. I can't rescue my kids out of theirs, though there are times I'd like to. And then there's sometimes I'd rather they just live with it, learn something. But God will always rescue us when we are at the point of despair and discouragement and feeling like we can't go on. So, as a result of those two promises, those two comments, the psalmist says, I will sing to the Lord. Well, it doesn't say you have to sing really well. I used to go to church with a guy who, as they figuratively say, couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. I mean to tell you, he was so off key. It was hard to sit next to him when it came to the songs because he didn't care if he was off key. He just blurted it out and made a, a happy time for him. If you've ever sat next to someone who's really bad singer, you'll know what I'm talking about. But he sang. He sang because he loved the Lord, and he sang because he knew the Lord was good to him. And God tells us to sing to the Lord. Whatever comes to your heart and mind that praises him. He goes on to say, and I sing to the Lord because he's good to me. Do you ever think of God being good to you? Most people think God is punishing to them. Most people think God is distant from them. A lot of people think God doesn't care about them. But here it says, because he's good to me. I try to be good to my neighbors. I try to be good to my kids. I have 10, as you may have heard me mention, 3 birth kids and 7 adopted kids. And that's quite a tribe. And they're all scattered around, so I don't really see any of them regularly. And I'm not physically close to any of them. But I try to be good to them. I try to send out little nuggets of happiness to them from time to time. And I'm always there to listen. That's how God is. He's good. He's not angry, though he has a right to be. He's not he's not whimsical. He doesn't do one thing one day and another thing another day. He's dependable, he's caring, he's gracious, and he's loving towards you and me and everybody you can think of and all those that you can't think of. Now that is worth singing to. So you think about that. See if you come up with a good song. If you get a really good one, send me a note and tell me what it is. I appreciate you listening. And this month, I'm going to talk about the goodness of God somehow or another. You hang around and maybe together we'll learn something. If you have a need or a concern, let me know. And I or the church will do whatever we can to be as helpful as we can, as quickly as we can. So until tomorrow with another thought, thanks so much for listening. Hope you have a really great day. I'll talk to you again.